Have you ever wondered if there's a deeper reason behind your binge eating? If you're watching this, you may think you have an eating problem or a food problem, or maybe you think you lack willpower, or even you're a food addict. But here's the thing, I absolutely assure you of this, 100%, you do not have an eating problem. To explain, let me tell you about Alyssa, which is not her real name. So Alyssa was skeptical about my approach, which was different than anything she had ever tried before. And she had tried everything, every diet, every workout, everything short of surgery. Alyssa figured she had nothing to lose by giving my non-diet method a try. And that first session took place on a hot, sticky, and uncomfortable summer day, but Alyssa showed up wearing dark jeans and a long-sleeved sweatshirt. She said she thought about wearing shorts or a skirt, but she'd rather have heat stroke than let anyone see her legs. I really felt for her. I felt so bad because Alyssa was choosing camouflage over comfort and dressing to hide her body from others. She worried about her health as well as her appearance, and she often struggled with depression and anxiety about her weight. She feared her situation was hopeless and no one could help her. She felt stuck. Even though every other part of her life was good, binge eating kept getting worse, and she wanted to know how to get rid of her terrible binge eating problem. And again, this may sound controversial, but in fact, there is no such thing as an eating problem. Binge eating is a solution to the real problem. It is not the problem. And when you identify the real problem, that's the first step to create lasting change. Weight loss diets focus on what you're eating, but not why. Diets don't address the underlying reasons you turn to food in the first place. Okay, imagine you have a garden in your backyard, or maybe you do have a garden in your backyard. So every day you visit that garden and you see that weeds have popped up among your plants and flowers. You pull out the weeds, but what happens when you don't get to the roots? Your garden looks great for a while, absolutely, and then the weeds grow back and you have to start all over. Diets are like weeds. So it's likely you've pulled weed after weed after weed to resolve your weight problems. And for a while, it probably worked. Maybe you lost weight, started to feel better. And then you find yourself right back where you started, binging, dieting, and obsessing in front of the mirror. You feel out of control and you hate the way you look. Here's where you have to have compassion for why it's been hard to create lasting change. Because after all, you can't solve a problem that you don't see. And the reason you're still struggling is this. You haven't gotten to the root of why you eat, binge, or constantly diet. You haven't accessed those parts because you didn't know they were there. Those roots are outside of your awareness. They are deep in your unconscious, hidden from you. The key to permanent change is finding those roots and pulling them out. And when you look inside yourself and identify those binge triggers, then you can make sustainable, permanent change. So getting back to Alyssa, her main problem was she could not stop binging at night. Can you relate? Now, she was busy all day, and during the day, her relationship with food was okay. But nights were a completely different story. She ate a normal dinner, and then, even though she wasn't hungry, she always found herself snacking after dinner, and she kept eating, even when she was so full that her stomach hurt. She was hurting, but not just physically. I helped Alyssa realize that this was a way of converting emotional pain to physical pain. But when she was at work, she wasn't thinking about what was bothering her. When she was home with her thoughts, she felt restless and upset, so she turned to food. She had no idea how to soothe herself without food. Now here's a little history about Alyssa. In middle school, she once got a report card with 5 A's and 1 B. Her parents scolded her for the B. When she got 100% on a test, they wanted to know why she didn't earn extra credit. When she set a personal record in track, they predicted she would do even better next time. When she went to a Big Ten college, they were disappointed that she did not attend an Ivy League school. Ugh. Alyssa had always wished her parents could appreciate what she did well instead of focusing on what she did not do. So flash forward to the present. What's Alyssa's like now? Well, when she bought a new house, she immediately criticized herself for not being able to afford a more expensive, bigger house. When she got promoted at her firm, she wondered why she hadn't done so earlier. No matter what she accomplished, it was never good enough. As you can see, Alyssa related to the accomplishments and achievements in her current life in exactly the way she was treated in childhood. Instead of showing up for herself, she attacked herself. And then, of course, she ate for comfort and distraction and to go numb. Basically, Alyssa was repeating the worst moments of her childhood on practically a daily basis. And what was once relational was now intrapsychic, which means between parts of yourself. And let me be very clear, this isn't about blaming our parents. It's about explaining why you learn to cope by eating in the service of creating a new way of being. You have to know what you're dealing with in order to create lasting change. So the goal is to be fully present and find new strategies to relate to yourself other than using food. So in Alyssa's situation, the roots of her relationship with food went very deep. She never felt as if she were good enough. She had terrible self-esteem. And her lifelong solution to feeling bad was to eat for comfort and then get really upset with herself for eating, rinse and repeat. Now, Alyssa knew she was a good person, but somehow she didn't feel good enough. And she was sure that other people viewed her the way she saw herself. And when she changed her perspective by challenging the assumptions she always took as truth about herself, she stopped eating for comfort and distraction, and she lost weight. And the last time I saw her, guess what? She was wearing a lovely summer dress, no longer trying to hide her legs. And I share this because I want you to be curious about why you're eating instead of focusing on what you're eating. It's about why power, not willpower. So, what are your thoughts about this? Drop them below. Can you relate to Alyssa? Let me know.